Two of Global's most favorite Halloween units are getting awakenings. We're covering those today. Obviously, we have some really good news and some not so great news. All right, so let's get in here for you guys. Thanks for spending that time here today. If you want to see more stuff, obviously, you know what the YouTube's all about. So let's get right into it. Let's start off with Grim Lord Sakura, Blast from the Past. What is this unit, like 2 years old now? 2.5? Something like that. Coming back, she's going to have some unique properties for us to talk about. She has some physical attacks to do magic damage. She has some traditional magic damage dealing attacks. So let's get right in on it for you guys. She does have infinite duration on her Brave Shift form. And you guys remember, as we're going through here, you guys are going to be able to pick out a character or a prism or so from the event. And it's probably going to be Grim Lord Sakura, especially if you want a strong mage. So let's get in here. Her first skill that we're going to be talking about is Grim Soul Blade. This is going to be Bolting Strike Chaining Frame family, and this is going to be her physical attack that does a magical damage. It comes with a 120% fire and dark resist and peril for 3 turns to a single target. Then it's going to be a 55 times mod magic damage that is a physical attack based off of your magic. It also has a 100% chance to inflict poison. This is going to be her brave ability here. Now this does get buffed up with another skill that we'll talk about later down the line, because 55 mod, not the greatest thing, but you can buff this one up. She does have Magnus ability here, 2 uses per battle, 4 turn cooldown available on 1. This is going to be some supportive aspects. This is Candy Feast, 50% HP and MP heal, and then 25 LB gauge fill to your entire party. And then on top of that, Fire, Lightning, Light, and Dark Resist, 100% buff for 3 turns to all allies. So this could also be another reason that you guys might be using her in something like Dark Visions. Fill up those LB gauges, make yourself 100% immune to 4 of the elements in the game. If you're trying to take no damage from those elements, this could also be very powerful for you to use. Now this skill is not on her triple cast in her base form here, so keep that in mind as well. If you're using this Candy Feast, that's all you're going to be doing on that turn. But she does have some other skills here. Grim Emblazoned Mind, 3 turn cooldown available on turn 1. 250% magic and spirit buff for herself for 4 turns. It's going to give her a 600 MP refresh split over 4 turns. Then it's going to give a 20 times mod increase to her other skill that we're about to talk about, Grim Inferno, for 4 turns as well. So this is going to be 100% uptime as long as you make sure to go in there and recast this, because it's a 3 turn cooldown, but the buffs last 4 turns there. Grim Ritual is going to be another supportive aspect for herself here. She's going to have to consume 30 of her LB gauge crystals, but this is going to give a 50% damage mitigation buff for 2 turns to your party, a 3.5k HP barrier, auto revive, and it's going to inflict 50% HP damage to herself. It's probably one of the harder to use and probably not the most amazing supportive aspect that she has access to, because you need to have those LB crystals up, and you probably should already have these sort of metrics already met through another character in your party when you're using Grim Lord Sakura. So keep that in mind as well as you go through here. This also is not a part of her triple cast. Unweave has the ability to remove attack, defense, magic, and spirit breaks and stop from your whole party, but also increase your resistance to stop by 100% as well. But once again, not on her multicast here. But we get to Grim Inferno. This is going to be a 70 times mod Chaos Wave Awakened, 120% fire and peril. It does hit all enemies here as well. Remember, this is going to get a 20 times mod increase from Emblazoned Mind. So this is a 90 times mod for you guys here on her multicast. So this is going to be a very strong fire damage skill for you if you're lacking a strong mage. Remember, you can get out there, you can get some Grim Lord Sakuras. Maybe you are an older player, you have some Grim Lord Sakuras from back in the day. This is going to be a skill for you here. Now, she also has Grim Willow the Wisp, which adds a fire element to physical attacks for 3 turns to 1 ally. So it could be herself, it could be another teammate, and it also is going to give a 15 times mod increase to her Grim Soul Blade attack as well. This is the physical attack that does magic damage. So this is going to use physical killers, but because it does magic damage, guys, it's not going to use weapon variants or anything like that. Only skills that do your attack damage for the damage or your defense for the damage use the weapon variants. Any sort of attack that does damage based off of your magic or damage based off of your spirit does not use weapon variants, but this is going to get buffed up to a 70 times mod for you guys there. So this could be useful if you need to use her as Bolting Strike. If you want to use physical killers, then you can use Grim Soul Blade there with the Grim Will-O-Wisp combination. You can also get a little bit extra flexibility because she can imbue herself fire. She can imbue someone else fire as well, so you can get those nice elemental chains going with the Bolting Strike Chaining Frame family. We also have Grim Spectral Webbing, same thing, but this is going to be a little bit extra utility. It's still a physical attack that does magic damage. The multiplier is only 40 though, and it is going to give her 1 stack of Mirage as well as the rest of your party. So 1 whole stack of Mirage for your whole party there. She can use that in conjunction with maybe her Candy Feast in Dark Visions. I know you can't triple cast Candy Feast or multicast Candy Feast, but both of those things are both very strong things for a Dark Visions party when you're trying to not take damage at all. Last thing here, we have Eclipse Ward, which is going to be Fire, Lightning, Light, and Dark Resist plus 80% for 3 turns for your allies there. But you are going to have Candy Feast for a 100% buff instead of the 80% buff. Yes, Candy Feast has a 4-turn cooldown. You can only use it 2 times per battle. But if we're talking about Dark Visions or fights that are over really fast, this is going to be, you know, up there. You're going to not take any damage, and you're going to end the fight before this even wears off a lot of the times. But she does have a backup 80% buff there. The rest of her stuff is her old kit. The multipliers are really low. They're not worth talking about. It's just what it is, man. It's just what it is. She's pretty much all about the new Neo Vision ability. She does have Grim Reaver, though. If her TMR or STMR is equipped, she's going to get Grim Reaver, which is her triple cast. This is what we had highlighted for you guys here in the video. So, with that being said, her passives are very strong. Her Brave ability, you want to get Infernal Soul. It's going to give her 300 extra magic as well as 150 MP. On top of that, it's going to give a 40 times mod buff to a lot of her older skills. But these older skills that are getting buffed up, guys, they have, you know, 8 times mods, 5 times mods. So they're going to be up to, you know, 48, 45. You're not max stack 60 times mods. Still not good enough to compete with the rest of her own skills. So the whole 40 times mod increase there is not really that nice of a thing. But you want to do this one for the extra magic as well as the extra MP. She does get some extra high tide and some LB gauge fill per turn. That's going to help you use her supportive skills that we went over. Her Limiverse is just not good at all. We'll touch on that. Now, her other passive she does get at Neo Visions level here, she gets a lot of cool stuff. So she has resistance to blind, paralyze, stop. She has camouflage, which is kind of cool. MP recovery, we've seen that before. But she also has physical and magical damage killers for humans, demons, and reapers. And the big one here, as we get into the base form, the base form has a bunch of true double hand, HP, spirit, magic, all of the good stuff. So the base form is going to be true double hand focused for you guys. And we haven't even gotten to the Brave Shift form yet, but since we have all of these things covered, we can slide right on in after we look at the amazing limit burst that she has. Neo Visions, Phantom Fury, 30 times mod, 100% fire and dark apparel. Yeah, it's just it's not worth casting. It's not. It's awful. All right, it is an awful thing. But when we get into her Brave Shift form here, you're gonna notice a lot of similarities. She still has Grim Soulblade. That's that physical attack that does magic damage, 55 times base mod. She has triple cast black magic now for some reason, but we'll get on that. She has Eclipse Ward still, which is that 80% elemental resistance buff. Now she has Grim Dark Scar for a cooldown here. 3 uses per battle, 1 turn cooldown available on turn 1. Very strong. It is going to be a 150 physical and magic killer buff for humans, demons, and Reaper type monsters. This is 3 uses per battle. You can use it 1 turn cooldown on turn 1, and it's going to be a 150 times dark magic damage Chaos Wave Awakens skill. Very strong. You can do this, you know, pass the killer buffs around, but it's also an incredibly powerful hit. 150 times mod there. Grim Malefic Aura is going to be a cooldown skill, 6 turn cooldown available on 1. This is going to be a 50% human, demon, and Reaper killer to your whole party for both physical and magical attacks, and it's also going to give you 111 MP every turn for 3 turns as well. So another way to spread human, demon, and Reaper killer if you don't have something like Mastermind Zon on your team, then you have a supportive aspect here as well. Grim Dark Edge is a 4-turn cooldown available on 1. 250% magic buff, 666 MP, and this is going to unlock Grim Surge, which is her quadruple cast in her Brave Shift form. Grimace Scythe Reap, 70 times mod Chaos Wave Awaken dark damage and a 120% dark imperil. Then we have Ethereal Hunting, which is similar to the normal form. This is going to add a Dark Imbue for 3 turns to one ally, herself or someone else. It also is a 15 times mod increase to Grim Soul Blade there for you guys. So she does have that sort of similar, you know, Bolting Strike for physical attacks that do magic damage, Chaos Wave Awaken for strict magic damage attacks. She still has Spectral Weapon for the 1 Mirage for your whole party. And then I don't know why she still has it, but Grim Soul Barrage is in here. I guess it's because it's like her her OG amazing skill. It's a 3.5 mod with ignore 50% spirit, so nothing super crazy there. She does start with base triple cast, and this works for all of her abilities except for triple cast black magic. Now, when we get into her passives, guys, this is where we see a lot of cool stuff for you guys. She does have true double hand and true dual wield build. So if you want to go ahead and build her true dual wield, you can do that. She does not have the 6x mod cap, but she also does have true double hand, as well as a ton of human, reaper, and demon killer. 150% for each of those does she have. And then you can build her. She has 100% base true dual wield with base dual wield, or you can build her true double hand where she has 250% true double hand magic. If you're just starting off and you want to utilize this unique passive here, she does increase her magic by 50% if you are using a dark elemental weapon. That's going to be really hard to come by. I know there are a couple of things out there, right, that are like a couple dark elemental rods, I think 130 magic or so. But if you're trying to get those big bad boy weapons on her, they're not going to have dark element on them. Now, she also has in Thunder on top of that for a magic spell with her triple cast magic. So if you want to Dark Imbue, she's got you covered. If you want to Thunder Imbue, she also has you covered there. And then her LB here is Soul Harvest, 60 times dark magic damage with ignore 50% spirit, so 120 times mod, 130% dark imperil, and a 250% magic buff. At the end of the day, this is not all that great of a skill to be using here. I would get away from her LB. I would not level her LB at all, but as a unit, she's pretty solid. She's not super insane. If she had the 6x mod chain cap, like Abara did, that would go a long way to make her insane, but she is still really good. That's the only thing that she doesn't have, that 6x mod cap, but she is very, very strong with that quadruple cast. Her mods are a little bit lower at 70, but she does have that 150 mod that you can use, 3 times a battle every other turn with the Grim Dark Scar. That's going to help you on those shorter fights for sure. She has that nice utility aspect about her as well. She can provide additional utility with the mirages, with the elemental resistances, with the damage mitigation and re-raises for your party on top of that if you really need her to do so. So that's going to be Grimlord Sakura, and she's pretty good. She's pretty good. I'm not super, I'm not like super crazy over her, but she is very strong, and I do think that she actually was done a little bit of justice here with the Neo Vision's Awakening. But speaking about justice, we got to put on a different mask now. We got to put on a different mask. I don't know what this man, who designed this character, Lucius, why? What happened to you? Your Brave Shift form looks so cool, man. But let's get into this stuff real quick before you click off the video. Duration on his Brave Shift build is only 4 turns. Keep that in mind there. All right, let's check out these damage multipliers. Umbral Slash, Brave ability maxed out 27.5 times mod with ignore 50% defense. This is a 55 times modifier. A 55 times modifier. What? What? This is 2020. What is this? And it's Divine Ruination. It's Divine Ruination 55 times mod, man. I said 55 too many times. I hope I was not wrong. Yeah, 55. All right, cool. Shadow Frenzy has triple cast for a lot of his abilities here. Intimidating Rage coming in. Oh, this is his Brave Shift form. Whatever. Going right. This is his Brave Shift form, mind you. Intimidating Rage, 5% cooldown, 300% attack buff, immune to attack break, and a fire and dark imperil. This skill doesn't do any damage. It's just an attack buff and peril coming in from 2018. Dark Illusion, dark physical damage, 40 times multiplier. Sacrifices 20% of his HP to do this skill. Imbues himself with dark for 5 turns. It increases his dark physical damage by 15%. Very nice. Okay, I like the dark physical damage buff. We've seen that before. He also has Blazing Illusion, same thing, but it's fire physical damage, 40 times mod, sacrifices 20% of his HP, imbues himself with fire, gives himself fire physical damage increase. I'm happy to see that he's got that new mechanic, the fire and dark damage increase thing. That's awesome. I'm not happy to see these multipliers. I'm pretty sure Orlando has higher mods than this. He has Shadow Assault here. Physical damage 10 times mod with HP sacrifice 25% to one enemy, and then physical damage 35 times mod with ignore 50% defense. So this is going to be his best skill. It's going to be a 10 times mod for the first 8 hits, and then it's going to be a 70 times mod for that final hit. But this is skill. It's still not crazy. It's a 70 times mod or an 80 times mod overall, and he's still sacrificing 25% of his HP to do this skill. 25% of his HP to do this skill, and it's still not like it's above and beyond even older Neo Vision Awakening characters. We have characters like Lorne coming and churning out 185 times multipliers on a single skill just because. And this man, 80, killing himself to do it. Dark Knight Lunith is back, all right? Lacerations of Fury, 5-turn cooldown available on 1, single cast when dual wielding. That's right, if you're dual wielding this, single cast, because it'd be so broken if you didn't. 80% defense and spirit break for 1 turn, that's okay. Followed by a 70% defense and spirit break for 3 turns, followed by a 40 times multiplier for 3 turns. Why? Who thought this would be broken if you could double cast this? It's not. It's not broken. And then the one skill that is not on his multicast, Frenzy Destruction in his Brave Shift form. 1 use per battle, 1 turn cooldown available on 1, a single cast when dual wielding, 300% attack buff for 1 turn to the caster. Inflicts himself with Berserk with 150% additional attack from the Berserk for 1 turn to the caster. Human and Demon Killer 100% for 1 turn to the caster. This is going to get real good. This is going to get real juicy. It's going to be like a 900 times mod. 130% Dark Apparel. Yes! 120 times mod. With 40% HP sacrifice. 120 times mod. I'm pretty sure like Carton had like a 100 times mod as a base 7-star. You can't dual cast this skill. So if you're doing this, this is the one thing you're doing. You're going into Brave Shift form. You're getting in there. You Frenzy Destruction. You could have just, like, I don't know, triple casted Shadow Assault for much more damage. I know this is one enemy and this is all enemies, but it's just not good enough. It's just not good enough at all. He does have 6 times mod cap. He has Demon, Human, and Reaper Killer 100%. 150% true dual wield bonus there. Extra base attack here. I do believe he gets like 200% extra attack or 200 flat attack. Or is that his base form? I'm pretty sure he has that. Oh, here it is. Demonic Pack, Brave Ability. Increases static attack 200. But his LB better be something great. So let's look at Eldritch Assault. Attack, defense, magic, and spirit break. 80% for 3 turns to all enemies. With a physical damage of 40 times mod with ignore defense of 50%. And then a dot. So it's an 80 times multiplier, 10 hit AoE skill with an 80% break. That's not bad. If he had other ways to break that were good, which he does do, he'd be much better. But his damage multipliers, guys, are just not there. They're just not there. His brave shift abilities that we just went over. Let's check out his innate normal abilities with Midnight Corruption. He's got these skills from back in the day. He just got this latent +2 just added. I do believe, maybe I'm wrong, but I think it was just added. Latent ability +2. This is an EP skill. 5-turn cooldown available on 1. 100% fire and dark apparel for 5 turns to 1 enemy with a 16 times divine ruination multiplier. What? Severing Slash, brand new ability. I would have loved to see like an 85% on demand, 80% on demand break, 75% on demand single target break to 1 enemy, 40 times multiplier. It's not good. It's a backup break, but that's not good. You know, compared to like someone like Lauren or whatever, it's just not good. Just not good. Manifestation of Shadows, 300% attack buff for 2 turns, 250% attack buff for 4 turns to the caster. 25 times multiplier. This is a Neovision skill. This is a Neovision skill. 25 times Divine Ruination multiplier. This is brand new. We're not reading his 5-star kit right now. We're reading his Neovision kit. This is terrible. Immortal Inferno, terrible. Umbral Slash coming in terrible. 55 times multiplier. And then we get into his old stuff. That's his new stuff. His old stuff, 2.5 times mod. Auto revive 1% HP. He does have a couple of abilities that are awoken here. He does get Dark Frenzy, Curse of the Dark, Curse of the Dawn. But they're not good either. None of them are good. So, you know, Curse of Dawn, Curse of Dust, these are unlocked skills. They are 25 times multiplied. Fire and Dark Elemental, Divine Ruination, 120%. Like, he's got all these skills to like buff up his damage with elements. He's got the good imperils, the 120% imperils. We are getting at some 130s nowadays. He does have that in his LB, but he's got 120 on demands attached to skills. He's got the elemental damage buff, the 15%. So he just doesn't have anything that actually does a lot of damage. So Lucius, man, we're going to have to give you a big F down in the comment section below, guys. But Grimlord Sakura, we'll give her an A. We'll give her an A. She's good. She's good. So if you're looking between the two of them, which one should you get with your tokens? Definitely Grimlord Sakura is a pickup for sure, especially if you don't pull on a lot of mages. Get a mage in your arsenal. It's probably the character I'm also going to be picking on top of that. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for coming and spending that time here today. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys.